What up, everybody? Today we're working on my Tuttio, my little Tuttio bro, whatever the heck you want to call it. So in today's video, we're going to be working on bleeding the brakes, and I just changed the rear tire, so I figured I'd just give a whole maintenance video for the rear end of the bike. A lot of the stuff covered in this video does apply to the front of the bike, but the rear is more important because that's what you need for wheelies. If you're wheeling right, you don't need the front of your bike. So that's the plan. I'm going to show you guys a complete walkthrough. Thank you so much to you guys who have been with the channel. Hello to those of you guys who are new to the channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hype these videos so that we can get higher in leaderboards, get more views, more watch hours, get fully monetized, and buy some more stupid stuff. Because I think now that I have the Surron, I kind of have to start putting more money into the Tuttio. So we're going to do that. We're going to hop over to the tune, and not tune, to the maintenance, because we're maintenance today, not tuning today. And yeah, we're going to do all that and potentially do some wheelies now that the bike's fully put together. This will be my first ride with my seat cover on it, so I'm kind of excited about that. And we'll potentially talk about other things going on with this bike here pretty soon. Yeah. Okay, so we're inside with the Tuttio. Yeah, I got to figure out some lighting, but this works for now. Today, we're going to be getting our rear brakes bled because that's the thing that needs to happen. Also, we're going to change our tire because boy is she flat. You can even see the tape down there. So yeah, we're going to handle those things, which is going to be pretty super simple. First things first, we're just going to go ahead, pull the chain off. As you guys know, I'm pretty lazy, so we're going to try and do the least amount of effort as possible. So we're not going to touch the adjusters whatsoever. We're just going to pop the chain off because, as you guys do know, we have the big fat boy sprocket, which is also probably why my tire is flat. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead, pull the master link off right there. We're not going to they're not going to mess with those whatsoever because the chain will just pop right off. And then we're just going to go ahead, slide this axle out. I believe one side is a 17 mil, the other side is a 14 mil. So just pop those out, slide the axle on out, and we'll have the wheel off. And then we're going to attempt to change the wheel, which is probably going to be fun because these are some dense tires, but we'll see how that goes. Definitely don't want to lose this guy, so set it somewhere safe. And we'll just sit that on down there. Cool, so we're going to take our 17 millimeter ratchet, 14 millimeter wrench. Ooh, we had that boy tight. Also, you're going to want to make sure you keep your spacers all organized. The shortest spacer is going to go on the right side of your bike, and then the longer one's going to go on the left side. And then I also like to keep the actual retaining brackets on their appropriate side, just because, like, say you have it set to be straight, but one's slightly off in size or whatever. Yeah, just do that. Okay, so now we got to remove the tires. You're going to want to get yourself a really nice set of tire spoons. Let's and be very careful not to damage either your brake caliper or your sprocket over on the other side. So let's get some more light in here. That's one thing I got to figure out for this channel is more lighting, but that's something that'll come as the channel grows. So super easy. What you're going to want to do is just come under here. This definitely helps if you have your tires a little bit warm, but these are some, these are some dense tires on this bike, which, I mean, are definitely not a bad thing because I only blew an inner tube and I didn't tear a tire. So, you know, that's always good. And you're just going to work your way around the tire. Okay. And once you have one side completely popped over like that, you should be able to give yourself enough room to play over on this side. As you guys can see, my rim tape came out, which kind of sucks. I'm gonna have to deal with that. But I'm just gonna throw some electrical tape over the top of it. It'll be perfectly fine. And then we're going to get the old rim pulled out. So what we're going to do, we're going to take your little valve puller thingy. You guys can see that. Like always, everything's linked down below in the description. And of course, mine just happens to be on the other side. Just pull this guy out of my way. If I can get a hold of it, just go ahead and pull out the old tube. And this process is very similar, actually a lot more simple for the front tire, hence why we're not showing it, but same as far as pulling the tire off the wheel, putting a new tire in, all those steps will be pretty much the same. And I did not pull that valve all the way out because there's still some air. Yeah, my tire is flat, but there's still air. It's kind of annoying. If you put any tire sealant in, it'll just like move it all around and it gets really annoying. But there. Oh, that good old China air. Let's see if we can do this without much hassle. It's gonna be hassle. But you're just gonna take the nut off of there. If I can move this into the right position. Okay, so we got our inner tube, or tire, all that stuff off. We went and got this all taped up. I just used some painter's tape. It'll do the job perfectly fine. Put a hole in for your valve stem. We got our new tire. And so usually what I like to do is get it ready. You're going to want to go ahead and pull that valve up out of there just because it'll make your tire a little bit more mess withable. And so usually what I like to do is I'll get the tire back on halfway, slide the inner tube over and under it, and then just put the tire the rest of the way on. Super easy. Usually works out for me. Be very careful so you don't get pinch flat, but if you take your time, do it properly, you don't have to worry about that. So we're going to get these put back together, and then we're going to move on to our brakes and get our brakes bled for this bike because that needs to be done too. Okay, so we got the tire halfway on. So we're going to go ahead, take this part and just shove her up in there. And then this part is also a lot easier if you have some soapy water because it'll help you be able to slide the inner tube in without too much friction. But essentially all you're going to want to do is push the tire all the way down. And then you're going to want to just start tucking the inner tube. Okay, so we got the rear tire all on. That was fun. Make sure you take your time. Don't twist the inner tube because you get a pinch flat. That's no fun. But yeah, and then we got our tire all trued up with the bolts on both sides. Super easy, super simple. So final part of this maintenance, we're gonna deal with the rear brake because mine's a little bit mushy, wheeling a lot, doing a lot of stupid stuff on the bike. So we got to do that. But it's super simple. All you need is a Phillips head screwdriver. Well, this will be a Phillips head screwdriver here in a second. Some DOT4 brake fluid and an 8mm. Super simple. Also, the Sierra Moto stuff, I put this in all my tires because it's a tire sealant and wheel balancer. And honestly, I love this stuff because something this torquey, you're gonna get the valve stem to tear, and that sucks a lot. So yeah, I highly recommend this kind and not that green tire slime stuff. This stuff is way better, way more fitted for this sort of application. I run it on my Tuttio. I ran it on my other bike and my X2. So yeah, to do this brake bleeding process, you take your 8mm, you're going to put it on there, and you're going to crack this valve open. We're going to go ahead and take that reservoir cap off. Oh, there's my old electric skateboard. Way before. So I forgot to record that because, as you guys can see, I stripped a bolt, which not very uncommon for this bike, but I got it did. So we're just going to walk you through the steps super quick. You guys want to make sure that your brake level brake lever is as level and flat as possible. You also want to try to have it to be the highest point of the bike, so maybe don't have your brake line go over your pad thing, but you know, your boy's lazy and I just rip it, so I don't care. But yeah, so once you get that open, and when I did open mine, there was a lack of fluid and there was a decent amount of air in the line, so hopefully my brake should be a little bit better. But you're going to take that cap off, you're going to come down here, you're going to see I have one of those just bleeder bottle things. You just put it right on here on the little nipple. You're going to take your 8mm, you're going to go over to the top, you're going to squeeze the lever a couple, like 3 or 4 times, and on the final time you're going to pull it in, and then you're going to crack the valve and let all of it bleed out. And then before you let go of the lever, you're going to close this off. Once it's actually closed and no more is coming out, then you let go of the lever. You're going to want to make sure that this reservoir never runs out of fluid, because if it runs out of fluid or it gets low, you can get more air in your system, which means you have to do it all over again. But I will have all this linked down below in the description, probably in the tire section of the description, so somewhere down there. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. We're going to go out and ride the bike, see how much better it feels, and yeah, quick video, fun video. Okay, so we got Sir Tuttio up and running, which is kind of awesome. Kind of wish I would have came out to record this video earlier in the day, but I did not, because I was tired. But yeah, rear brake feels great, and we'll definitely lock up the rear tire now. Part of the reason for even doing this video was I was kind of curious, because people are talking about like replacing their rear brakes on their bike, and I didn't really think that was all necessary. So I went through, did a proper bleed. I am still on the stock brake pad, so there is that. But honestly, just to bleed, and they're great. Yeah. So that's freaking awesome. I love those kind of things because, yeah, I mean, it's kind of just more value in the initial purchase of the bike, which is always freaking awesome when you can just bleed it properly, probably put some upgraded pads in it at some point, and you have like, you still have like an awesome little bike versus like my Surron. I mean, I'm still going to bleed the brakes on that bike at some point here soon too, but that might actually need some new, some upgraded brakes, I should say. Not that the stock ones aren't good, but you know, we're always looking for more here. And not looping the bike. It's weird. Trying to wheelie my Surron is actually like comfortable. Trying to wheelie this thing, I feel like I'm gonna die every time. But man, that upgraded rear sprocket with just the battery, low-key makes this thing a whole new bike. And it is kind of wild. It is kind of loud. But we don't really care about that. Also, from what I've heard, when people do the metal chain conversion to the Surron, those apparently get really loud too. So yeah, we're not going to waste too much of your time with this. The rest of this video, I just wanted to do some maintenance because, you know, it needed to be done. So now I'm probably going to mess around, get a feel for my new seat cover, and yeah. So you guys have a nice day, night, whatever the heck it is. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and peace out.